What is up, guys? We're live with another episode of Modern Magic Mondays, and we've got 4 rounds of coverage tonight. So we're going to do our best to try to kind of fly through everything. It has been a little bit toasty up here, so I've got my fan positioned kind of right by me to try to keep me cool. So there might be some extra noise today from the fan, so I apologize, but I don't want to melt. So that's how it goes. No green screen tonight because I haven't been doing as much streaming with the green screen. Been doing some regular streaming up over on my channel. We were playing some Minecraft over the weekend, so I was doing some of that. If you guys are interested in checking out some of the coverage I do, you know where you can find all the other content that I am producing, which is over on twitch.tv/TheRealNanman, as you can see down below. Simple, easy, all that kind of good stuff there. So why don't we just kind of get things going, and we'll discuss how the season's been progressing once we're in round number 1. All right, RJ is switching it up this week. He's decided that he is back playing some Jund. Hasn't played Jund in quite some time, so it's going to be interesting to see how things work out and what his decision was to switch it up to start playing as Jund. We've also got Justin switching it up, and he's going to be rocking out that blue-white spirits there. Now, the spirit list is something that has existed for a while now and has kind of gone through different variation and iterations. That it is kind of blue-white is a powerful one that a lot of people have stuck with. So it's going to be interesting to see how Justin navigates through this. He talked to me a little bit over the last few weeks about the list, and has said with the amount of control players that are showing up and playing at the shop, it makes a lot of sense to run it. And it's interesting to see that shift in our meta, because for quite some time we were so focused on like this aggro strat at our shop, and now things have calmed down a bit and slowed down a bit to the point of now they're at like control style. So we'll see. We'll see how things go with these 2 players as we are getting ourselves all shuffled up and ready to go here. Alright, looks like the players are getting things ready to go. And here we go with an Aether Vial. Seachrome Coast coming down for Justin. And that should be a good indication for all the players out there wondering, okay, what am I playing against? Well, when you do see something like this, that should be the indicator of saying, hey, you're going to be playing against the Spirit list. Now, there are some other variations that people are trying and doing different things and everything, but that's really the most common thing that you're going to see based off of this. So we're going to see the fetch, get an island, and starting things out kind of slower, right, over on RJ's side. But if you have these man lands, you want to kind of just like, hey, I'm going to let them get out early kind of thing. first spirit is out. That's, of course, the one that's going to be buffing everybody else up. Alright, bolt that, kill that off, drop to 19. On the end step there, we see Geist as the follow-up here. Things kind of progressing nicely right now for Justin's plan. He did not want to lose one of his spirits, but it happens. Alright, so ticks it up to 3. Maybe giving indication that he's got some more Drag Skull Captains or something in his hand. RJ not really playing much this turn, though. Like, he doesn't have a Lily to play. He doesn't really have much else to bring out, which is interesting. He also could be worried of a Spell Queller as well that could be on that 3 mana if he tries to start casting things. So maybe he's hoping to just kind of snowball a couple of removal spells back to back to try to clear things up against like a Spell Queller fight. But he can't really do any targeting stuff with the Geist there because it is hexproof. And the new Teferi, everybody just wants it, right? I've been hearing that our new Teferi, yep, there's Spell Queller. So we tried to see Kolaghan's Command get used, but it was unsuccessful there. Everyone's trying to play the new Teferi, it seems. Even I've been hearing about people playing him in Infect, which is crazy to think, right? But being able to shut off your opponent's spells so they can't really do anything during your turn is pretty nice. But we got to see 6 points of damage come across here, so RJ is going to fall down to 13, and then he's going to fall to 12 because he's going to be fetching as well. Fatal Push. So that allows him to be able to cast the Kolaghan's Command there to clean that up. And then we see the Maelstrom Pulse. He's going to be able to clean up Teferi. So now all he has to do is deal with Geist. Drug Skull Captain going to come out and going to buff him up. So that's 7 points. Drops RJ down to 5 there, which has been, you know, this has been a tough, like, that was a lot of removal that RJ's had to use so far, but still not enough to clear the board at this point in time. He really needs something like a Damnation, and I'm not even sure if he's running any of those main board. Alright, so here's the Goyf. So he's hoping to block Geist here. If he doesn't have anything else, he's in a lot of trouble. Because that's still 6 points of damage that'll be flying across. Alright, 2 mana. Oh, there we go. Selfless Spirit. So he can be like, hey, I'm going to make sure that my creatures are going to be indestructible this turn. So if you try to start using some removal spell, it's not going to work. And game 1 goes to the Spirits. So when your metagame has slowed down a bit, and you're going to be facing these grindier decks like Control, like Jund, things like that, having this Spirit list that has a pretty consistent clock to it is kind of the way to go, it seems, at least in game 1 before sideboard, and then we can see how things go post board. But RJ does have that slower deck there, and he's really got to hope that he can string together some good disruption in the early stages, Inquisitions, Thought Seizes, things like that, to start picking apart some of those scary cards like Geist, and rely on his removal spells to kind of get a lot of value here to just kind of stem the tide and get Justin to run out of resources. It's going to be very challenging for him to do, so I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see post-board how things work out, what other removal spells RJ feels the need to be bringing in here. What does Justin decide to bring in for his? It's going to be pretty interesting. Some of the Spirits lists do run things like Leyline of Sanctity, so maybe we'll see him choose that. I mean, it's because it's Jund, you think that, all right, that shuts off Inquisitions, that shuts off Thoughtseize. It also shuts off Lightning Bolt and Kolgun's Command in some aspects, right? Kolgun's Command and Lightning Bolt, you can still kill creatures and things like that, but you can't make him discard a card. You can't bolt the face. So, if you're feeling like, oh, I might need something to bring in, and you're really hurting on like, this card's not that great, but I don't think you should sideboard just a sideboard. Like, if your game 1 plan is working, cool, go with that. I don't mind the fact that he should have like something like a Ruined Halo in his board. The card's just so good. Definitely worth picking up if you're going to be playing white. Just kind of that single target, hey, you're not going to be dealing damage with this. And if it's Goyf, that's great. If it's, Raging Ravine, whatever he's naming, it's going to just kind of shut that down from being able to do any damage there. So we'll be getting things going with game number 2 momentarily, though. All right, so this is what we were talking about, what we were hoping for that out of RJ's. Get some chain together disruption spells. But so we've got a mix of removal and some creatures over here. So I like going for some of the creatures, like the Thalia over there. Making stuff cost more is going to be a pain. I mean, you can think about, okay, I might have only a certain amount of threats. If I can get some threats out, maybe try to race. But I think ignore the threats for the time being and go for something like the Drag Skull Captain or the Thalia here. And he opts for the Captain, which, giving other spirits hexproof is kind of tough to deal with. So stripping that out of the hand makes a lot of sense. Oh, there we go. So we need Spirit, and we get the Mausoleum Wanderer out initially. So here's a second Inquisition. Great start coming out for our Jund player of just kind of, let me see if I can make something happen. Now Justin has to decide, does he want to counter that? All right. It's not necessarily going to work the way he wants, though, because the power is 1, and RJ could just pay for it. So he does have that stipulation. You can sack it and do all that. So no new cards in there, and so now we see Thalia get taken away. It says, cool, you can have your couple removal spells. You can be able to have your Supreme Phantom that you've got in your hand. I'm not worried about those. Alright, Justin going to fetch. The Inquisition should be in the graveyard right now. Both players have kind of forgotten about it. Not a big deal at this point. There we go. Alright. We see a fetch now. I'm not sure if he's fetching on the... Okay, we're going to go to 17, I'm assuming here. And he's going to be bolting that friendo down. Could have been response to the cast. Regardless, that thing's dying. Even if he sacks it. Alright, so where are we navigating through next? Dark Confidant, let's try to get some card advantage here. And he says, alright, you could decide to get rid of this. Alright, you could path it and do things like that. I'll get another land, that's fine. Looks like RJ's at 2 cards, so him trying to gain back some card advantage is important at this point. Like, he's used a lot of resources. Now we're in catch-up mode. Hi, Sophie. Sophie's kind enough to bring her toys over to us. Sophie. Ooh. Okay, so poke you for 1. And here's a Geist follow-up. We'll fetch down to 15. Let's see how much we take. 4 cost should be around the highest that the list runs. Maybe you have something crazy 5 cost in your sideboard that you bring in, but for the most part, he shouldn't have anything more than 4 in his list. Alright, trigger. 1 point of damage. Arguing on a fall to 14, which is not a bad thing to like. You're hoping for a land or a 1 cost thing, so you don't take too much. And let's see. Inquisition you, he says, what are you holding? They've got the path, and then of course our sack outlet. Start attacking creature. Alright, so strips the path away. Doesn't have to worry about that. And there's the bolt on that guy. And if he wanted to, he could do some trading with the Dark Confidant against the Geist. But now he knows, okay, you are low on resources. I should be able to make something happen here. He probably... I don't know. I'm not sure what's in RJ's hand. But he can't take too many of those angel hits. It would be one thing if Justin had a follow-up threat. Right now it looks like he's got a vial in his hand, which is not a follow-up threat. Alright, here we go, he says. Let's trade that off. And, I'll let you get a land, too. How kind. So he says, I'd like to draw a card. And they'll trade. I'll take 0 damage, get a land. There's a Bile, and here's our Blood Braid, so one of our 4 costs. And he gets a Lily off of it, too. Which feels pretty good. He can haste that guy in there. Uptick, no targets. I don't know why he didn't swing for 3 there. Oh, was there a Mutavault already? That could be why. If I'm not paying enough attention, guys. Continuing to uptick. So still has no targets. Okay. Passing after that. So he says, here's my Spring Phantom. It's a 1/3. We're going to be targeting it just so he's essentially super low. And okay. It says, nice. Thanks for choosing that. Now I can flash in this 1/2 or this 2/1 guy that I would die to your Lily. I don't know if he has enough to... Yeah, it's like you have to at least attack with him. Alright. And it says, hey, would you like a land? Because you get one now. Assassin's Trophy going to get used. So at this point, Justin's really just like, okay, I am doing my best to try to assemble the right amount of pieces here. RJ's been kind of on the back foot. He's starting to push damage, which is kind of giving indication that, hey, I've got a follow-up creature, right? We've been sitting back for too long. Now it's time to do something. Please sack an attacking creature. Oh, that's pretty good. Exile all your creatures because I got an Anger of Gods. That anger is pretty great. Activate. Let's hit Lily. I mean, that's kind of the clock right now, right? Is Lily can close out the game, so I need to worry about that. But are just going to continue. All right, uptick, cool. And this is the power of the Jund deck. This is kind of, hey, we've kind of gotten to this grindy stage. We're depleting resources, but I have these, powerful planeswalkers to kind of back up this sort of mid-gamey strat that we going on. I've got, these powerful creatures that can come in, and like Tarmogoyf, that are just really strong now that the game has gone on. We've used a lot of resources, and there's another boom, kill that off. Geist is here, which is going to be a bit of a problem though, because now it looks like RJ is down to 0 cards in hand. Now he's up to 1. Let's get something back, he says. So he's actually going to be going for the -2, which you put your top 2 cards from your graveyard or from your library into your graveyard, and then you can return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So he gets a Bloodbraid, and so he says, okay, modes, I'm going to destroy that, and looks like, I don't know, he's debating about bringing a creature back here. Yeah, looks like he brings back that Dark Confidant. All right. So, if Justin attacks, it's kind of the clear shot of I can kill your Lily, but then I lose my Geist, and then I got no threat anyway. So I'm going to hold it back for now, knowing that you only have 1 card, and I know what it is, which is that Dark Confidant. But we do see RJ going to be fetching. I believe he got the Dark Confidant back. Uptick, no targets. There's the Dark Confidant. And he'll pass. Ooh, Seachrome Coast in Justin's hand. Not sure what the second card is. Oh, another land. Yikes. Freebie. No targets. Alright. Flash in the Selfless Spirit again. Move to combat. This angel is coming across. Coming at Lily probably here. Declare blockers. I like to sack and give my guy indestructible. Ooh, pushing damage at RJ, ignoring Lily at this point, saying, okay, your life totals are getting lower. Let's do this race for a little bit. See if I can be able to get there. No targets. RJ just has to pass. Ooh, nice. So another spirit going to come out and help out. I mean, really at this point, any spirits that Justin can kind of string together and start playing are going to be beneficial. But Supreme Phantom there at least buffs up that Geist, and he becomes a 3/3 now. So declare blockers. Let's trade that. Angel's going to be coming across. Let's see if that gets a removal spell coming his way. Go to damage, looks like. Those guys will trade. RJ goes to 5. Nice Ovi. RJ going to go to 4. Is he hoping to ult Lily here? I'm not sure. Is he going to just -2 and bring back the Bloodbraid Elf? There's a bolt. Clear that up. Yep, we're going to go for the ult. So for those that aren't remembering, Liliana the Last Hope is ultimate is set up that you get an emblem at the beginning of your end step. You got to put X 2/2 blank zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. X is 2 plus the number of zombies that you control. So there are the 2 zombies that he's got. These 2/2/2 zombies. Push for damage. Here's 4. Drops Justin to 15. There's a Tarmogoyf. And Tarmogoyf's already a 6/7, which is nice. Using that Tarmogoyf dice, so we know exactly what his power and toughness is. And he's saying, hey, I'm going to get 4 more zombies. These 2 that are up here in the front have already attacked. These 4 that are back here have not attacked yet. Oh, another land. Justin Deck is mad at him, it seems like. Why is there beginner players tab? Why? Because that way, if people are looking for, if they're beginner players and they want to come across the stream, they can find it through that. Not saying that anybody on the stream is a beginner, but we try to do our best to break down matches for new players that aren't as familiar with Modern or new to specific matchups. That's why I put that beginner players tab or thing tab. So, all right, RJ got there. Game number 2. Deck worked out as intended. Those kind of resource depletions initially there with the kind of chain together Inquisitions made a little bit of a difference. And the Jund deck really kind of did what it was supposed to do. All right, I'm going to find a way to get us into a grindy match and get us into that kind of mid-late stage of Magic and kind of value you out. RJ's already ready, so he's already just looking at other things on his phone. Distracted maybe by Modern Horizon spoilers and all the crazy cards that are coming out in the new set. I'm wondering if we're going to see some more players start playing Slivers again or something like that. There's definitely some interesting spells and cards that have been spoiled already. I like the swords, but I always have liked the swords. They're not going to see much Modern play, but that's okay, right? It doesn't have to see very much Modern play for it to be a cool card. Maybe we'll see it more in other formats, like Cube. But there are some cards that will definitely be seeing some Modern play, like the new Planeswalker Ren and 6 is pretty sweet. Or I can make a cat tribal deck now. King of the Pride got printed. Other cats you control get +2/+1. Seems pretty good. Alright, players looking ready. Let's jump into game number 3. Oh, just kidding. Justin's not ready. He said, you know, this hand really is not going to do it against Jun. I really need something kind of out the gate, ready to go. Hoping for a 1-drop here. Aether Vial, Mausoleum Wanderer, something to get me on the board. Alright, looks like he might be ready. Yep, there we go. So, Horizon Canopy going to be coming out. Which there are some other versions of Horizon Canopy going to be coming out soon. Uh-oh. Justin missed a land drop. RJ is going to look to capitalize here. We see him fetching down to 17, maybe. So he actually goes just to 19, tries to play Goyf, which Justin's going to lose a life, go to 19, and hit him with a path. Well, here's the second Tarmogoyf. And a third Tarmogoyf. Because why? Why would we not just have them stick together? There's another path, though. Justin's going to fall to 18 to be able to try to clear the way. Kind of deplete the amount of creatures that are on the board. But Justin's really trying to hope for something. Some sort of draw. I can see why he kept this hand, though. Based on having 2 Path to Exiles, having the Horizon Canopy, and then probably a bunch of like 2-drops in his hand. Alright, 2 points of damage going to come across. Justin's going to fall to 16. There's our Lily. And that was the thing that closed the game in game 2. Alright, that's a threat, Dahlia, which will get bolted, making Goyf bigger. Creature instant land hanging out. So here's 3 points of damage. Lily up at the top of the screen there, going to uptick with no targets. And Justin's just sort of hoping here, but looks like RJ's debating about deploying that second Lily he's got in his hand, but decides against it here, just saying, okay, let's kind of be a little reactionary, see what you tried to do. Wow, another one. Resolves, I'm going to push it. Or he can use Lily to kill it. He's kind of is in the driver's seat at this point. have you sacrifice a creature. Come across for 3 more. Justin's going to fall to 10. Uptick Lily, no targets. And he decided not to use anything with Lily or do a push or anything like that because he's like, I can save it for later. You know, also me continuing to uptick that Lily will give me closer to being able to have, you know, a kind of good closer. Yes, Goyf has been doing work, but he's not always going to be around to do that. And so now we're going to see that sort of minus clear the way, and Justin's going to just scoop it up there. Say, yeah, okay, that was not fun. I did not enjoy that, not at all. So, round 1 is in the books. Jund versus Blue-White Spirits, all done and over with. The game 1, but like pre-board, everything kind of worked out essentially with how Justin was trying to push and be this kind of constant threat and just sort of kind of lean on his opponent until there was nothing left, while Justin was not really able to do that in game 2 and 3. It was really on RJ that was like, okay, things didn't work out so well game 1. Let's see how we can do. I've got more Planeswalkers I can bring in. I can kind of be able to do this resource depletion strat where I'm all about draining your hand away from stuff. I'm using my burn spells and my removal spells effectively right now, and it kind of worked out well that he was able to keep a Planeswalker out as his kind of win con for game 2, and then game 3 Goyf just sort of got there. I mean, it helped that he had 3 Goyfs, right? Who's expecting him to just have kind of 3 in a row like that? So sometimes that happens, right? That's the variance of Magic. But that was round 1, guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching, whether you're watching on YouTube or watching live on Twitch. We appreciate you. Make sure you're, of course, showing support if you like the content. But let's hop over to round number 2.